Hi, welcome to my channel. I don't think the YouTube peeps can see me right now. So let me just... There are people in the chat being like, why isn't it started yet?
Why is my Zoom not working? There we go. Zoom, please work.
Zoom.
There we go. No, not Zoom. Just normal Zoom. Just one
Content
Zoom.
live. It says I'm live. It says excellent connection. Progress only says they can see me. Okay.
Ah, well, fair enough.
Oh, right. I still have my cacistocracy.
You still have cacistocracy
I
up.
still have cacistocracy up. I often forget to not set up old stuff. I need to stop trusting chat when they tell me that there's something going on.
I need to trust chat right now. I did this with no sound this entire time.
Scott D. Okay, well, Scott D is now vindicated because I was just about to be like, it's not a watering hole live stream without a technical problem, but we didn't have a technical problem. We just had one person. We had a liar in the chat is what we had.
We had two technical problems. Me.
Yeah.
I'm the other technical problem.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say like left boob and right boob. Those are the technical problems.
No. There's never a technical problem with boobs. They're just boobs, and they are good. As they are, there can be no improvements.
All boobs are good boobs.
Mm-hmm. The correct way to group a boob...
Sean Helfin says YouTube is still blanked.
That's weird.
I see nothing on Watering Hole, only on Sura's stream. Did I accidentally stream to your channel instead of mine? Restream channels.
That'd be fucking hilarious if you did, because then what am I streaming?
Oh, god damn it.
Silly Snow says, what if you seek bigger booga, but you have lack of booba? Yeah, it's called titty skittles.
Hey, am I live now on YouTube? The YouTube peeps, can they see me live now?
Rhino, did you forget?
No, what happened was when I updated the stream in OBS, I forgot to save, so it streamed me on the old stream.
Oh.
So now my viewership is going to be toast because half of them are over there and the other half are over here. Huh. Whatever. I will give them like 3 minutes to sort things out. We've got some stuff that doesn't matter to talk about first. Cirrus.
Like Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, not like Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm gonna... well, first off, can you do me a favor?
Sure. What's up?
Open your browser and type in fuckyourwallet.com.
Okay.
Go there.
All right, fuckyourwallet.com goes to Adobe Creative Cloud.
Yes. I fucking love that. That's amazing. I don't know who set that forward up, but you're a hero, whoever you are.
I'm just going to say this right now. I can't legally advocate for piracy, but fuck Adobe. Those two statements are not related.
Yeah, people on the YouTube side of things are saying that they have blank stuff. I might have to stop and... I might have to turn it off and turn it back on again. On your YouTube? How long is the commercial?
Oh, wait.
What?
Okay. I think OBS restarted it. It didn't connect to the stream that I had set up. It restarted the old stream and as a new stream, and then when I changed it to the one that I had set up, it didn't actually start streaming to that one. It just refreshed the title. So
okay.
I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Guys, we're doing our best right now, and by I mean Vice Rhino's best, because I already fucked up earlier today.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The VOD will be fine because I'm recording on the OBS side of things, not the YouTube side of things.
Fair enough. And now that I no longer repost our stuff, I don't have to worry about getting the scuff side.
Okay. And I think my chat window is, I've got Casey in my chat saying, "Hi friends, we're professionals."
We are very professional. This is what we do for a living. Anyway, can anybody give any advice on how to do this for a living in a way that doesn't involve doing it for a living?
You know what? I'm going to just... I'm a fan of Linus Tech Tips. I rather enjoy that channel. They stream regularly. Their stream is like an hour, 2 hours, or whatever late. So like they might not have technical difficulties because they have like actual professionals or whatever that are like running the thing. Like the people running the stream are not the talent that's on the stream. So like
yeah, but then the stream is 2 hours late because they wanted to get it right every time.
Yeah, I mean they're waiting for the CEO of a relatively large company. Okay, I'm going to do a thing. I think I'm going to do it without disrupting stream stuff, but if I disrupt stream stuff, so be it. But I need to update this. And if all went well, you shouldn't have seen what I just updated, and I should still be able to do this. That's my partner. She says, "Hi, my adoring fans."
Obstinate says, "Does Rhino need to fix this computer?"
Because
this is my fault.
Your message was the first one that was up when I needed to check and see if my chat highlight thing was working. So, it seems to be working now. And I don't know if the chat on... I don't know if the chat at the bottom of my screen is actually going to be the correct one.
Oh dear.
We'll see! I ain't fixing that one!
So, because I've recently changed my stream aesthetics and layout, now my chat looks really weird pasted to the side while the other two chats are on the bottom.
At least they're not
Everything
overlaid on
looks
top of each other anymore.
Well, what I used to do for that was I would put an image behind my chat so that it blocked out your chat. And then that basically solved that issue. But this one's way funnier.
Yeah, well, I'm going to stream elements and I'm going to refresh the chat thingamajiggy. If I remember how to do that, because I haven't logged into stream elements in fucking forever. Chat box only.
I had to log into stream elements today so that I could show everybody a weird thing.
Okay. Save. Studio mode. Backgrounds in chat. Let's refresh the chat box.
Ninja said, would anybody like me to help me get access to totally legal Adobe? Yeah, you go to totallylegaladobe.com and then you hit download on Totally Legal Adobe, and you make sure that it's the portable version, which they definitely support. And then you make sure to run an antivirus scan right afterwards for your totally legal Adobe software. You never know, just always be careful. And then, there you go.
There we go. My fucking boop motherfucker message showed up on the stream. So we are good. We are sorted.
Yay.
Everything is as it should be.
Oh
and
God, my neck hurts.
Okay, everything is not as it should be. I don't know. I don't remember which video it is, but in one of my recent videos, I was like, they're talking about the problem of evil and how like, oh, well, how can you know that bad things are bad unless you have an absolute standard of good to measure it against?
It feels bad when it happens.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, no, my response to that was like, okay, turn to any adult that you know and ask them what part of their body hurts. Every single one of them will have an answer. You don't think that any of them are capable of being like, hey, it'd be nice if that didn't hurt, unless there was a god?
Like, I don't need an absolute standard of good to know what bad feels like. I just need to know what not bad feels like. Human beings are really, really resourceful creatures. One of our resources is comparison. That's actually how we judge basically everything. We compare when my back fucking hurt to when my back didn't fucking hurt.
Lord of Uzkalak says, good thing there's been no super chats yet. Not that you know of. If they happened in the other chat, then sorry.
But if it fell down in the middle of the other chat, did it really make a sound?
No, it didn't make a sound because it wouldn't have triggered anything on my end. So maybe it would have. I don't actually know that. Oh, so I also, this is not news items that we're covering or whatever, but I found it absolutely delightful. I have a video clip of Jesse Waters. I think, yeah, there we go. And it's just delightful. Let's just watch it. Now, if you are wearing headphones, I recommend taking them out and using speakers or whatever, because he does really annoying lip smacks like 2 or 3 times in this one, like really loudly. You'd think a professional news commentator would know how to avoid that.
Well,
But
absolutely
you'd
not.
also think a professional streamer would know how to start a stream without there being 2 separate chats for the same stream.
You would think that.
Rosina sent a test woo. So, yeah, but apparently Jesse Waters and I are equivalently good at our jobs. That is an insult to Jesse Waters. Or is it? Is it self-deprecating? It might be self-deprecating.
I thought it was a compliment to you.
No,
like your professional
no.
standards are obviously up there. See?
No. Okay, whatever. Jesse Waters, here he comes.
Yep, people are taking some space in the Waters household. I'll have you know that I was not invited to my mother's house for Thanksgiving. Apparently, there wasn't enough room. She said it was a scheduling situation, and then at the last second invited me to come over on Black Friday. I told her no thanks, I'll be at Best Buy.
Stop doing that!
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah. But no, the fact that Jesse Waters is not being invited to his family Thanksgiving dinner is just delightful to me.
like, I wonder why you're not invited to the Thanksgiving dinner. Is it possibly because you're well, I don't want to use that word on Vice Rhino's channel, but let's just go ahead and say cock.
Okay, my partner and my editor are chatting in the chat, and I don't know what's going on. Oh. You renamed them to Pipes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like it when the people in my life conspire right in front of me, but also behind my back because I'm bad at keeping up on the chat. Okay. Yeah, so that was Jesse Waters and the lip smack of death, talking about how his mom doesn't want him anymore.
I wasn't invited to my own Thanksgiving thing. Is it because you're a cock and you suck?
Possibly. Neuromptiput says, things I've rediscovered. I have 50 bits and 1.5k era coins. Era coins are yours, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think mine are called bow ties, but I don't remember because I set that up ages ago and then didn't look at it again. Speaking of, no hats, which means Jas is not in the chat.
Huzzah! You've been saved.
Yeah, no, I don't think Jas is here. Oh, no, there's... Jas has said something at 8:35. Did you get my news items? Oh, yeah. Okay, there's...
Did you get that thing I sent you?
There's the hat, but it's Fennec. Yeah, so there's only one news item that I pulled from people that sent it to me. Oh, Jas is out of points. Okay. Yeah, there's only one news item that I pulled that people sent to me. And it was the one that, like, 5 people sent to me. So it was like, okay, I guess I better cover this one. But, like, everything else was still, like, depressing political crap. It's like, you can hear about that from the actual news channels.
Yeah.
So, we don't need to dwell on it.
So then what do we have to talk about today?
Well, for starters, to get back to atheist-themed stuff, this is just going to be a quick one. We got 4 news items today, but at least 2 of them are going to be, like, really quick. I can never find my fucking articles button. Every fucking week, I'm like, where's the button for that one? So, yeah. 7 ways Americans who leave religion are basically pretty boring.
What?
So there's a book called Goodbye Religion, The Causes and Consequences of Secularization that came out recently. And they looked at data from the, what was it? The American Time of Use Survey, I think it's called. American Time Use Survey, yeah. So basically a survey of tens of thousands of Americans asking, how do you spend your time? And it gets very, very granular. Like, it'll ask, like, okay, how long is your commute to work? But not just how long is your commute to work. How long do you sit in the car before starting it and leaving the driveway? How long do you take, like, hooking up your devices while in the car before you leave the driveway? How long do you spend just zoning out or whatever? Like it gets granular about every single little thing. And I'm not sure how, like, I assume it's self-report data. I haven't actually looked at the survey myself.
Okay.
I assume it's self-report data, so, like, it's not going to be like at that level of granularity, it's not going to be perfectly accurate. However, it still is it provides valuable insights into things. And so the reason I pulled this up basically is because it's some empirical evidence for the fact that atheists don't become atheists because they want to sin. Because it turns out we're kind of boring.
Okay.
So, like, this article says it's got 7 ways Americans who leave religion are basically pretty boring. I don't understand how they broke this thing up, because, like, number 1 is they're actually pretty tame, but then, like, number 2 is leaving religion is not just for white men anymore, if it ever was. I'm like, how is that something that makes it boring? Oh, diversity is boring. Is that a take you really want to have?
I feel like it's no longer for white men is because a lot of people who left religion ended up doing so, like, in the last 20 years, a lot of people who ended up becoming agnostic or atheistic prior to the big boom of, like, internet atheism was people who went into college campuses and had their moments of self-discovery where they got to get away from mom and dad, away from their local church, away from all of that, and they started discovering, like, other philosophies you can use to guide your life.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what it's referring to a degree.
Yeah, so the way I kind of read it was that, like, the most vocal atheists and people who were, like, out of religion and trying to convince other people to come out of religion in, like, the early 2000s was the 4 horsemen, 4 old white men. And so, like, because they were the most vocal ones, you kind of assume that the demographic that follows them matches their demographic. And there is some truth to that, because, like, who's hanging around with Richard Dawkins now? Bunch of old white men.
Well, there's also just the conservatives' boogeyman word for the longest time was representation, but there is a huge amount of data to suggest that representation in any kind of media ends up leading people down the paths of the characters in that media. And the 4 horsemen, while they are real people, Dawkins and everybody, they are real people, but they are also characters on a stage. 110%. In terms of, like, the mythos around Hitchens, the mythos around Dawkins, they are characters. There's a reason why for the longest time the Reddit atheist became a meme, because the person who tried to channel their inner, usually Hitchens and Dawkins, Harris to another degree, but usually Hitchens and Dawkins, would get channeled through people's argumentation in those areas of the internet. The reason that happens is people see themselves in the people on stage. So when you've got a bunch of old white fogies up there, that's gonna be the audience that's gonna be taking that seriously first. That just, humans are very emotions based, and we do that shit.
Yeah. And they go into other reasons, like reasons that people leave, and there's push factors and pull factors. Some of the push factors would be, like, things that, like, religion is unpalatable to them because it doesn't line up with their values. So, like, people are more liberal than the religion is. So, like, that's your LGBTQ plus representation, positions on abortion, things like that. Or, like, okay, well, if I have to be anti-abortion to be a member of your church, I guess I'm just not going to be a member of your church, because turns out I'm not anti-abortion. But then there's pull factors as well, which are, like, things that are attractive about not having religion. And interestingly here, this is where
being able to wake up at 2 p.m. on a Sunday.
Well, what I like here is their wording here is these include having more meaningful things to do with their time. So, like, that's one of the big things that apologists will tell you about religion, is that, like, you, without religion, your life doesn't have meaning. Without God, there is no meaning to life. Everything is just blind, pitiless indifference, to use that Dawkins quote that they all love to drag up. So, like, there's no point to life without God. But then people are leaving religion in order to find more meaning in their lives, because instead of the meaning of my life has to be going to church every week and worshiping God, I can do what I am actually passionate about and do my own.
That's kind of a big thing when you think about how most people end up viewing purpose given by God. They view it as a positive thing.
Mhm.
When if you're an atheist, it seems more like an imposed thing. Like, you know how you generally are not a big fan. I mean, hell, we in media generally aren't big fans of stories of imposed fate, right? We've got 1,000,000,001 stories about the princess who's fated to be betrothed to the noble and really doesn't want to do that, and so shenanigans ensue. We've got
Yep.
1,000,000,000 of those kinds of stories. And the reason we have 1,000,000,000 of those kind of stories is because as much as people want to, especially conservatives, want to talk about duty and tradition and all this shit, the thing that we really like, especially as Americans, is independence. We like being able to do our own thing. And that individualism is a thing that I think is felt in a lot of different countries as well. So when you take a bunch of people like that and you give them an option and say, hey, by the way, if there's no threat of hell, then there's no reason that you can't do your own thing, irrespective of what a God may or may not want. That's going to suddenly seem a whole lot more appealing once you get past the whole, oops, I'm going to burn in hell if I go do my independent shit.
Yeah. So Fennec says, my mom gave up dragging us to church when I was in high school because teenagers are not morning people at all. Yeah, that plays into the next point. Younger people are driving a good deal of this. And part of it is kids are having more autonomy than they did in the past, whereas before it was seen like you do what your parents say or they'll spank you or like beat you into doing what they say. Whereas now it's like, okay, no, we're actually giving our kids autonomy, letting them make their own choices, having natural consequences be the punishment, like leaning away from actively punishing your kids for misbehaving and letting the consequences of their own actions be the punishment.
Yeah, that teaches them a way better lesson, because if actively punishing your kids a lot of the time, depending on the punishment, obviously, but a lot of the time, all it really does is teach a kid to fear that thing, fear getting caught. But like, you've got a choice between your kid touching the hot stove and you grabbing your kid's hand and slapping it. Either way, their hand's going to hurt. But the lesson they learn, if they're like 5 or 6 and they don't quite understand how to put 2 and 2 together yet, the lesson they learn from the smacked hand is mommy and daddy can hit hard. The lesson they learn from touching the stove is the stove's hot. I shouldn't touch the stove again.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one of the things as well. Non-religious people don't have the religion-shaped hole in their life, as apologists have you believe. But what I really wanted to focus on for this one is the first one, the part where, like, we're told that like you're an atheist because you just want to sin. So according to the time of use survey, this is, he and Kagan studied data about the time usage in America and found that non-religious people use their extra time on Sundays to do more laundry, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's a lot easier to get all the chores done if you don't have to be in church for like 3 to 4 hours every Sunday. They're just doing normal things. They're not out in bars spending hours and hours. They're spending a little bit more time with their family and a little bit more time outdoors. They go hiking, they watch more TV, and they get more work done. So it's like, we do the same things that the religious people do, just more and better.
Although there are some facts about that data that I think might not necessarily be wholly accurate, or might not be wholly ascribed to religion. If you take religion as this is the thing you're doing with a community, right? You take it as this is your outing with community, and this is your 3 to 4 hours of a day, then there's a lot of different activities like this that can take up that same amount of time. It's just there's not a social consequence to not showing up.
Yeah.
Like if church is your social activity with a whole bunch of people, that's fine and dandy. The consequence of not showing up, depending on where you are, in the South, I know it was always the church leader would say something really mean and condescending, but say it with kindness, where they'd go, and we see that we are joined by X people again today. It's wonderful to see you again. And you're like, wow, that doesn't sound scathing, but I feel insulted.
Fucking pronouns!
God damn it.
I'm sorry, that was the wrong button.
Whereas, like, if I don't go to the card shop, The only thing that happens is somebody's like, "Hey, I wanted help with the deck. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to hang out with you." Like that's the worst thing that happens when I don't do my community thing with people.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh, Gus, God fucking damn it! That's 3 of them this stream. Why do you guys keep making me want to say fucking uwu? I just want to hang out with people on the internet, far away from you.
Okay, that wasn't a proper uwu. Come on.
You're making them get freebies, and I wish you would die.
Do it.
Uwu.
Mainly, I just wasn't ready to do.
Oh, you just weren't recording
Do
it.
it.
Okay. You couldn't just go back into the VOD afterwards and get it that way like a normal fucking person. You had to get
No,
me to
I have a
repeat
fucking
it
stream
like
deck. I'm gonna fucking use it, okay?
I understand. You can still hit the record button on YouTube.
That would require me to actually fucking know how to do that.
It's called turn on OBS, put YouTube video on OBS, and then click record.
God damn it. I still didn't get it.
That is unfortunate. Sucks to be you.
I had warning for that one. That was me pushing the buttons, was seeing which one I could clear.
That was skill issue.
And I can't clear.
Fucking pronouns!
That one's too useful.
God damn it.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, that's basically all I wanted to talk about with regards to this. It's just like we just now have empirical data that like atheists have, if anything, more meaning in their lives than Christians do, and we're not more degenerate, although we might be a tiny bit more statistically likely to be having sex.
We have
Just
sex,
a
but the
little
kind of
bit.
sex we have is less kinky.
I mean, I got some stuff coming up later in the program that will either be incredibly kinky or incredibly nightmare fuel, depending on who you are.
Yeah, but depending on what kind of Christian you are, ankles are kinky. So come on, there's literally
That's
more
true.
kinky things to do when you're a Christian because more things are taboo. I got to it. There's a new player who's been playing Magic with us recently, and they were very, very sheltered growing up. So despite the fact that they're like 23, 24, they didn't know what a swinger was. So we got to explain to them what a swinger was.
It's an
And they
adult who
just
really
kind of-
likes to go to the playground and play on the swings.
I know, right? Totally. And they just kind of like stared blankly, like, so those people aren't in a relationship then. I'm like, no, they are.
That's not how that works.
That's not how that works at all. I've been in polyamorous relationships and I've done swinging before. And I was very much in a relationship every time. And my partner was part of it every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's... Relationships are defined by the people that are in them, really.
Yep.
Like, you don't get to tell me whether or not my relationship counts as a relationship based on your criteria. That's for me to determine. Okay. Anyway, next up, The Onion has bought InfoWars.
I saw this and I'm so excited.
So this is the one. This was sent to me by Andrew, Mark, Jassa, E.T. Benson, and my anonymous source.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not really planning on covering this. I was just going to like make a joke about it and move on. But since 5 people sent it to me, I was just like, okay, I guess I got to cover it because this is what you want. Oh, Lord of Uzkalak says next introduce them to dogging. I am aware of dogging. I'm surprised that that's one of the things that I know. Because that's not just a kink, that's like a UK specific kink. Or at least it's terminology that is UK specific. Oh, and Progress Only says, I thought I sent that too. You probably did, and I just missed it, because like I wrote down the 5 that came in one after the other. If you sent it not at the exact same time as everybody else, it might have been earlier or later in the inbox, and I just missed it.
I feel like dogging is just voyeurism. Like,
Or exhibitionism, depending on which end of the transaction you're on.
yeah, but since dogging requires viewing, not requires viewing, but like in hopes that viewing will happen.
Yeah, so like if you're the like if
Yeah,
you're on the
I see
outside
what
of the
you're
car, you're a voyeur. If you're on the inside of the car, you're an exhibitionist.
Or if it's an orgy, you're both.
Scott D says, remember, the Onion made Alex Jones cry. It did. He cried on air when he was talking about this. So the satirical news publication The Onion won the bidding for Alex Jones' InfoWars at a bankruptcy auction backed by families of Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting victims whom Jones owes more than $1 billion in defamation judgments for calling massacre a hoax, the families announced on Thursday.
How dare they?
I pulled the...
How dare they do this to me?
So I pulled the article from the Associated Press. This one seems to not have all the most recent details. So I will provide those when I am aware of them.
They're putting chemicals on the Onion that turns it into InfoWars.
InfoWars is ours now, comrade. But yeah, so they were not the only people bidding on it. They weren't even the highest bidder. But the Sandy Hook families got together and were like, hey, we will take the lower bid from the Onion. And like...
Because it's way funnier.
Like, yeah, they were like, in exchange, like, we will give up some of that. Because, like, remember, like, whatever money comes in from this goes to them. So they were like, okay, well, we will decrease the amount of money that Alex technically owes us if it goes to the Onion instead of Alex's buddy. So, yeah. The dissolution of Alex Jones's assets and the death of InfoWars is the justice we have long awaited and fought for. And, yeah, they say the sale price was not immediately disclosed. I believe it was $3 million was what the Onion was offering, and there was
I would have bought it for a crisp
there
dollar.
was another company that was offering I think it was like 4.5 million or something, and it was like someone that was a friend of Alex. So
why would you let a friend of Alex get it? That's just like giving it back to Alex.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Alex wanted. So the families, the Sandy Hook families, were like, hey, yeah, we'll take a lower payout if it means that Alex doesn't just get it back. So yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is not making it cost an amount of money. That's not what they're trying to do. What they're trying to do is take the power away from the fucker.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is one of the ways to do it, because like we've all seen the YouTubers who keep breaking the terms of service and coming back with like a 2 on the end of the username, and now they've got a 3 on the end of the username. Every time they come back with a new one, their audience gets smaller because people get tired of trying to follow them around. So like, yeah, Alex Jones will still have a platform no matter what happens to InfoWars, but making him change the name and change the websites and like go somewhere else to find him is going to shrink his audience.
That happened to call for an uprising very shortly after he like did the physical threatening towards me, where he started stalking me and going like, "Oh, I'm going to attack you, but I'm going to go to your family first." I was
thinking of that YouTuber who I think is actually still around, but I haven't actually seen any of his shit in years. He was the kangaroo guy. Atheism is unstoppable. Yeah. That guy.
AIU also has like the Twitter handle "he wasn't jogging." Like, oh yeah, no, you're not racist, but you're definitely talking about shooting black people.
I didn't know that one. Yeah, I knew he wasn't good people, but what I find funny is like
a piece of shit.
So I don't think I ever really watched him much, but I remember seeing a video of his around 2016 or something. It was just before Lawrence Krauss got ousted as a sex pest. And just before Krauss got ousted, he did this whole thing where like he had a banner on his channel that had like a bunch of like well-known atheists in it or whatever, and Lawrence Krauss did something that he thought was too social justice warrior-y, and he made this big production of being like, "You are now being removed from this place of honor in my banner. I am taking," and he like animated the whole thing and everything. It's just like, you're just some fucking YouTuber, man. Like, I bet Lawrence isn't even aware of your existence. And then I'll bet you he wanted to put him back in as soon as it came out that Lawrence was a sex pest, because that's not social justice warrior-y.
It's kind of that weird thing where you're in the same space and people who watch you tend to watch the other person, but that other person is so far out of your league in terms of popularity that y'all two never intersect. Not that Lawrence should be popular anymore.
So I only just recently, YouTube just recently changed their back end thing that creators use, where like before in the studio or whatever, you click on comments and it would show you all the comments.
I hate that change. I fucking hate it so much.
So it used to be like you click on it and it's just all the comments from all your videos in chronological order, like with most recent at the top, and you scroll down to see them. So like is, you know, a nice easy way of reading all the comments without having to jump from video to video. Recently they've changed it. It is now the community tab, and it's basically the same. I don't know if there's another change coming, but
we've got to make a bunch of extra clicks to make anything happen.
Yeah. But also there's I just noticed that there's a tab up at the top where it's comments and mentions. So I get to like, there's always been a way where you can see when other people tag you, but I've never bothered to find it. And so this is it. And apparently, oh, I fucking forget the guy's name. He's one of these apologists who does live streams that almost nobody watches. Like he's not got much of an audience, but it's enough of an audience to keep him going. And he has been like making videos, like he stopped about 5 months ago, but like he's been making videos about me and tagging me in them for like a year, like a period of a year.
He's just going,
it's just
please
like,
watch me.
Yeah, and it's all the same thing too. Like, and just like, well, judging by the titles, it's all the same thing. I haven't actually watched much of it. I did that. That is how I found out that what's his name, Justin Derby, the TTOR guy, who I had a back and forth with like back in 2018 or something. He's still making videos about me.
Okay.
Like he took a screenshot of a tweet that I made, and he made a 14-minute video talking about how my tweet took a Bible verse out of context. He's like, buddy, I'm not a serious person on Twitter. Sure, I'll take the Bible out of context on Twitter. I don't fucking care. It's fucking Twitter. Who gives a shit? But also he was very wrong about even what he thought I was trying to say, so
who cares anyway?
Yeah, that video I actually did watch because it was hilarious. And like I debated making a response video to it, and I'm like, nah, this guy's like that would feel like beating up a child.
And what's wrong with that?
Depends on the child, I guess.
To quote Shadow the Hedgehog in the 2005 game, it's like taking candy from a baby, which is fine by me.
So Jones confirmed the Onion's acquisition of InfoWars in a social media video Thursday and said he planned to file legal challenges to stop it. I don't know what law could even stop. Like, why would a legal challenge stop this? Like, the people who you owe money to said, we will take money from these. Like, you shouldn't get a say in who buys your company at that point.
Yeah, that's not how auctions work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it going to not the highest bidder is also not how auctions work.
Yeah.
But still. So it was not immediately clear what the Onion planned to do with the conspiracy theory platform, including its website, social media accounts, studio in Austin, Texas, trademarks, and video archive. I think they've actually mentioned...
Recently, didn't they say they were going to just make it a parody version of InfoWars with less transphobia?
I imagine that would be... That's what I assumed they were going to do with it. But I heard on one of the Puzzle in a Thunderstorm podcasts that they might be giving Alex Jones's desk to the Knowledge Fight guys, which that's a podcast that like pretty much exclusively covers Alex Jones bullshit. And like Alex is aware of them and he's afraid of them, and like they were in the courtroom while he was in court and he refused to talk to them, and there has been like stuff that they have put out has been used in court against Alex. So like the lawyers for the Sandy Hook families were like using them as a resource. So like they're not like, you know, it's not like CNN covering him or whatever, but like they're the experts on Alex Jones, and anybody who needs to know something about Alex Jones can go to them for it. And they've made a big joke about really wanting his desk. and like I really want the desk. I'll go to the auction. I'll see, like, you know, we'll like mortgage the company to like get the desk because I really want the desk. And the cognitive dissonance guys have also said that they want the desk, and they were like fake fighting over who gets the desk or whatever. And so the cog disc guys were like, okay, no, I'm going to cede the desk to you guys because you guys are actually in Alex Jones bullshit all the time. Like when the auction actually happened, it looked like, hey, maybe we might be able to actually bid on the desk. And I don't know if it was said jokingly, but it sounded serious to me when one of them was on as a guest. It was God Awful Movies or Citation Eater, one of the podcasts to do with that group of people. They said that The Onion is actually going to give the desk to the Knowledge Fight guys, which I think would be amazing, and I hope that wasn't a joke, because that would be amazing.
Also, they wouldn't have much use for the desk on its own anyways. It's a desk.
They're getting the studio. They're getting the studio.
Yeah, they're getting the studio, but like, do you really need that desk? You could use any desk. I think giving the desk to the people who are fighting about the desk is way funnier.
Yeah,
you could even make
it's way more in line with The Onion and what they would do. But yeah. Oh, apparently they're going to make fake supplements as well. I mean, were they not already fake supplements?
Sidebar, I really think supplements should be regulated by the FDA.
Yeah, that's not a fight for the next 4 years, though. The fight for the next 4 years is, can we please keep the FDA? Like, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 1,000%.
The good news is Trump cannot get rid of the FDA with what he has right now. He needs a supermajority to make it happen. And he doesn't have a supermajority in either the House or the Senate.
Yeah, well,
that's the thing. Like, he can make changes in how these things are ran, but he cannot dissolve them. Like, I know he wants to dissolve the Department of Education. That's well known, but he actually cannot dissolve the Department of Education until he has that supermajority, which he could manage by just getting a couple rhinos on his side. Like, dinos.
I am not going to be on his side.
Not you.
I know.
Dinos,
I know.
I know.
If
he gets a couple dinos on his side, then he actually will have a supermajority he can use for shit like that. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to be terrifying to see what he fucks these organizations.
You saw that he got the wrestling lady for Department of Education, right?
No. Kill me.
What's her name? Linda McMahon, is it? McMahon's wife.
That's really scary, considering there's a fuck ton of alleged sex pest cover-ups with McMahon.
Alleged? I thought they were past the alleged stage of things.
I am unsure, and I am on the internet on a show, so alleged for now.
I just realized that my mic levels are way higher than yours.
You need to be heard more than me anyway. Our words don't matter.
Yeah, okay, so just a second. I am going to put an image up.
Vice Rhino was a spy the whole time to out Cirrus as a child puncher.
Well, mission accomplished.
Yep, that's right. I punch the children.
As they deserve.
No child will have teeth in my sight.
Okay. Here we go. Comic. By good old Smooth Dunk. So it says, class, this is On the Origin of Species by Charles Darwin. Puts it on the floor. Proceeds to do a turnbuckle jump thing into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the wrestling lady is in charge of the Department of Education, so that's education now. Also, the poster on the wall that says A is for Andre, with Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because why not?
Yeah, Jassa says, fun fact, if he manages to kill the Department of Education, he would inadvertently get rid of all Mohela-held student debt. I don't think that's how that works. I believe that he's able to transfer it to a private agency if he does that. I believe that's if you dissolve the other agency, another agency is allowed to buy that debt, because that's how debt works in the United States in general.
So I really want Marjorie to leak her list because it will leak the entire board out and Donald will want to kill her. What list is that referring to?
I do not want to hear the words. I want to hear Marjorie leak ever the fuck again. Never again.
I don't know what list you're referring to with that. I do have a tweet from Madtag Gadge. But yeah, I think it's the one that Fennec sent. Because I know there are two tweets that people sent to me, but I don't remember who sent which one, so we'll talk about that. But yeah, so I want Marjorie to leak her list because it will leak the entire board out and Donald will want to kill her. So yeah, I'm not sure what the list is, but I can almost guarantee that all of these right-wing figures absolutely hate each other. They already want to kill each other because they can't stand being in the same room with each other. It's a show.
Let them fight.
And actually, this was on one of the podcasts that I listened to. They suggested, and I love this idea. And I actually think that if enough people do it, it could actually work. But if everybody signs up for 2 Twitter accounts, pays for Twitter Premium, and then like on one account, every time Donald Trump does something or tweets anything or does anything that shows up on Twitter, you retweet that and be like, oh man, Donald Trump has really got Elon Musk wrapped around his little finger. He's like manipulating the shit out of this guy. Go Donald. Yeah, woo. You show that billionaire who's boss. And then on your other account, do the exact same thing. But Elon, you are manipulating the shit out of Donald Trump. Good job. Excellent work. And it just suck up to each of them on the separate accounts and make it about how much they're manipulating the other one and how they're controlling the other one. And if enough people do that, they'll start seeing that shit and they'll fucking hate it. And they already hate each other. And that will just make it a million times worse. And it would be fucking great.
That sounds amazing and something that we should get an army of Russian bots to do.
Yeah. I mean, the Russian bots want Elon and Trump and them in charge, so I don't think they would cooperate with that.
Yeah, I can hope.
But yeah, so both supporters and detractors of Jones had expressed interest in buying InfoWars. The other bidders have not been disclosed. Yes, they have. There have been a couple that have come out. Again, Elon tweets too much, so yeah, that'd be super easy to do with Elon. Just pulling his tweets all the time, like, good job manipulating Trump, Elon. But, yeah, so some of the other bidders were definitely people that are affiliated with Jones in one way or another.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, did you see the clip of the Fox News people that were reading the tagline of The Onion, where it says that they have 4.3 trillion daily readers, and they just took it at face value and was like, well, that's clearly a lie. I can't believe they would lie about their readership.
It's
yeah.
The Onion.
Yeah, that's the point. That's that's a ridiculous number because that's a couple orders of magnitude more bigger than the number of people that exist. So obviously that's a lie. It's The Onion.
That is the point. Thank you for welcome to r/whoosh Republicans. Thank you. You're here now. You did it.
Yeah, and Jones has been saying on his show that if his detractors bought InfoWars, he would move his daily broadcasts and product sales to a new studio, websites, and social media accounts that he already has set up. So even given that he's got it all set up and ready to go already, I don't see what case he could have to stop The Onion from buying it. Because you can't claim that it's going to do you too much harm because you have acknowledged that I'm ready to go in a new business.
Why would Casey try to stop him from buying the... I don't get it.
Casey?
You said what case he would have, and I heard it as what Casey would have.
Okay. Yeah.
Why would Casey want to stop this?
Yeah. He also said that if his supporters won the bidding, he could stay on InfoWars platforms. Well, yeah, obviously. But yeah. So Alex Jones is a piece of shit, and shitty things are happening to him. Not enough shitty things. It'll never be enough shitty things.
Shit
But
things
every-
are happening to him. no
Every
doubt
shit
about
thing that happens to him is a thing worth celebrating.
It's true.
Speaking of which, did you see that Dennis Prager fell down and hurt himself?
Not hard enough.
Yeah, I know, but
Like,
Hey.
I'm going to be honest. I feel like the person who has almost single-handedly contributed to shifting a bunch of would-be centrists over to the right with propaganda can't fall down and hurt themselves hard enough.
yeah. Yeah, he's on my list of people that when he goes, I will probably be happy about it.
Unfortunately, the problem
Like-
is because he has so much infrastructure set up, even after he goes, it won't make any difference.
Oh, yeah, the PragerU Twitter account never shut up the entire time he was in the hospital.
Yep.
Actually, as far as I know, he's still in the hospital. I don't actually know that. Okay. So, next news item. Cirrus. We have an update on the monkeys.
We have an update on the monkeys.
We have
Okay,
an
cool.
update
How
on
did
the
Escape
monkeys.
go? Okay.
They've been joined by emus named Thelma and Louise.
What?
Feral emus named Thelma and Louise are now on the loose in South Carolina with the monkeys.
What?
It's a fucking video game!
Yeah,
We
it's
covered this
just
last
a
week.
fucking video game.
So, Thelma and Louise are the emus that, like, you can like capture one of them in one of the levels and ride it through the level or something, and then you jump off the cliff at the end.
God fucking damn it.
Yeah, like, oh, this is truly the most ridiculous timeline.
You know, every single time.
Okay, Obstinate
It's-
Sparrow, fuck you for making me remember that movie exists. However, that is apropos.
Every single time that something terrible has happened in United States politics around the time that an election has happened, there's also been some kind of terrible thing to happen with animals. All I'm saying is this all fucking began with that goddamn ape. And now monkeys are getting out. They don't want to be next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so 2 more animals are on the loose in South Carolina as the state continues to search for fugitive monkeys that escaped a medical research facility in Beaufort. I still can't believe this. Like, and the Alpha Genesis facility was a bunch of experimental monkeys escaped from. Like, what the fuck? This time it's 2 emus named Thelma and Louise. Full disclosure, they've actually been loose for about 3 months now. So, like, they haven't joined the monkeys joined them, but they didn't make the news until after the monkeys escaped.
Jesus Christ.
So, yeah. What I love here is the Horry County Police Department wrote about the large missing birds on Wednesday, saying, "We are not emused." I love that. That's amazing. That's the only good thing a cop has done in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
The department is aware of the reported emus, and we have made contact with the owner. We are working to aid the owner in the effort to locate and capture the animals. The Facebook post says there is no risk to the community associated with the emus at this time.
At this time, until the monkeys get a hold of the nuclear codes.
Well, I mean, apparently these emus have a history of killing wild, like, dogs or wolves or something that attacked them at one point. So, like, they're not a threat. I wouldn't want to have to fight an emu.
Rhino, the only evidence you need that you don't want to fight an emu is that emus have already won one war against humanity.
Which war is that?
In Australia, there's an actual war that happened against the emus, and the Australians fucking lost.
I'm not
You
aware of
didn't
this.
know about this?
I did not know about this.
No, look it up real quick. This is a real thing that happened. In a war against the emus, historically, emus win. Ninja says the emu war.
The Emu War was a nuisance wildlife management military operation undertaken in Australia over the latter part of 1932 to address public concern over the number of emus, a large flightless bird indigenous to Australia, said to be destroying crops in the Campion district within wheat belt of Western Australia. The unsuccessful attempts to curb the emu population employed Royal Australian artillery soldiers armed with Lewis guns, leading the media to adopt the name Emu War when referring to the incident. Although many birds were killed, the emu population persisted and continued to cause crop destruction. Okay.
The emus won.
The emus won the Emu War, and it was
Yep.
after World War One.
Yep. Alpha Mario X says this was on the Galapagos Islands. Yep. Yep. Gideon says Rhino didn't know about the Emu War. Look, the Emu War is one of those memes that if you don't know about it and there's nothing to ever like let you know about it, it will remain completely unknown knowledge for the longest time. But once you know it, it's like staring into the abyss. It's like opening up the Necronomicon. You've done it. This is now etched into your mind. You will never be able to escape the fact that in these wars, we have no fucking chance as humanity.
Obstinate Sparrow says the emu loves to eat Virginia creeper vines, so they're beneficial. Just let them rove. Just let the emus and monkeys go, okay?
At a certain point, it's best to give up.
Yeah, well, I mean, apparently they've caught all but like 6 of the monkeys by now, which is a little bit disappointing, but still. To be fair, I didn't know about the emo war either. I just about the rabbit wars. Okay. Yeah, so that's the other news item that's not going to take very long.
I like how now that I'm not editing a video, my cat Yumi is laying down at my feet, but the entire time I was trying to edit, she laid on my hands, making it impossible to edit. My foot grazed my cat for half a second, and I'm just like, oh, right. Now that I'm just sitting here talking on the internet and I don't need my hands actively, my cat's like, yeah, you can have your hands back.
My dog leaves the room whenever I put on my talking into a microphone voice.
He goes, fuck this shit. I'm not getting any attention.
Yeah. No, well, no. It's she doesn't really like I don't know how to explain it, because she likes being held, but I think there's something about how I hold her when I've got her on camera, because like I'm trying to hold her to where the camera can see her, and I'm also trying to keep her paw off the microphone or whatever. She doesn't like
having
that.
Sex in a porno. The angles are all weird.
Can't say I've got a lot of experience with that one.
Neither do I, but I'm currently rereading the Dresden Files, and I'm on the book that takes place in a porn studio.
Okay.
So
sure. I like how me holding my dog makes you think of porn. But anyway, she's now gotten to a point where like for streaming nights, when I start talking, that's when she'll leave. But like when I'm setting up to record, as soon as I move the tripod in place, that's when she just takes off. She's like, nope, you are not getting me to perform today. So I'm like, okay. So that's why she's not in my videos much anymore, because she doesn't actually like being in my videos. Not that she knows what they are, but...
She's just like, yeah, fuck you.
You put that into the world there, artists in chat. Just wait till you see what we get to in the tweets.
Oh, god damn it.
There's going to be some new Surus lore from this, I think.
I don't need there to be new Surus lore from this, or from anything for that matter.
I do, though.
I don't think I have to be terribly worried about what you think about it.
You do when you're on my stream.
That is true, and also fuck you, and also shut up, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, last news item. North Korean troops sent to Russia are gorging on pornography.
They don't know how to handle their shit.
Well, so that's the thing. This is their first time ever with I imagine the internet is not completely free in Russia, but it's more free than it is in North Korea.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is their first time outside of the little zone that they have. North Korean soldiers deployed in Russia have reportedly accessed the unrestricted internet for the first time, with many using this newfound freedom to view pornography, according to Financial Times journalist Gideon Rachman. A usually reliable source tells me, you know it's reliable when they have to cite it as a usually reliable source, that the North Korean soldiers who have deployed to Russia have never had unfettered access to the internet before. As a result, they are gorging on pornography, Rachman posted on his X account. Twitter account. Call it what it is. It's Twitter.
Wexer.
Yeah. So it's I can totally see this happening, but at the same time, I feel like I don't know, would they be open about it enough that people would be seeing it, or would it just be like, I'm so excited about this that I can't be bothered to hide it?
I mean, look, you know how when your kid gets to a certain age and they've discovered internet porn for the first time and they're trying everything in their power to hide it, but you fucking know this is that. But,
No,
with
I
an entire
don't
military.
know that because... No, I'm not going to talk about it because I don't have my kids' permission to talk about this sort of thing, but like...
And entirely fair. So parents in my chat who have had this experience, this is very, very likely that. Wait till they see what that tentacle do, though.
Yeah. So yeah, the Department of the Pentagon has weighed in on this. They're basically like, yeah, we don't know, we don't care. On questions of internet access, he noted, that's a question best directed to Moscow. Like, so ask Tulsi Gabbard. She can probably find that out for you.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, so fun little story. Guys are having some fun before they get deployed to a military zone.
We just have to rub one out before we rub them out. That's all.
Could get rubbed out more likely. From what I've been hearing, they're not particularly good at the war thing.
Yeah, it's
like,
fair.
This has always been the problem with communist nations, is that the totalitarian regimes don't respect their people, so they're just like, yeah, we have a lot of those people, so if we just throw a lot of them at the enemy, eventually they'll be overwhelmed, right?
Yeah, but eventually you just run out of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just hope that Ukraine manages to win before Trump takes over, because the aid's getting cut as soon as he's in charge.
Yep.
I mean, there are other countries supporting them too, but
let's be honest, our munitions have been a huge thing.
They have, yes. I mean, it seems like they're kind of ramping things up because, like, I guess there were restrictions on how they were allowed to use American munitions as part of the agreement. Like, we'll give you our munitions, but you can't use these ones for deep strikes within Russia or whatever. And they've been kind of loosening that up recently. Been like, nope, just use them. Just use them. Just fucking use them.
Blow everything up.
So I think that is kind of playing into it. It's like, okay, well, if we just let them go to fucking town, maybe they'll win before Trump shows up. But I feel like the fact that Trump won the election, Putin is now in a position where he's like, I just have to keep the war going for another, like, couple months, and then I win. But I don't know. If he's resorting to North Korean troops, maybe he doesn't have a couple months in him.
Maybe. Or he's just looking at old war strategies and realizing that lots of numbers means good kill.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
I don't know how my chat turned to Leisure Suit Larry, but that's where they're at.
I feel like this is my fault somehow.
I can see that, yeah.
I don't even know how it would be my fault. I'm just going to make an assumption that it could be.
Okay. I once interviewed the composer of music for one of the Leisure Suit Larry games on my main channel.
Huh.
How'd
that go?
It was good. It's Austin Wintory or Wintory. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Yeah, it was fun. He's probably more well known for doing the soundtrack to Journey, which was a very popular video game. But when I was like doing my background research for the interview, I ran across Leisure Suit Larry, and I was like, okay, I'm going to ask him about that. That's going to be the first thing I bring up.
I want to bring up your very prestigious work. But first, we need to talk about this computer game from the 90s that got an Xbox release that nobody bought.
No, I think the way I did it was like, okay, I've got with me Austin Wintory. He's a well-known composer, has done blah, 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 but probably his most well-known work is Leisure Suit Larry. Austin, how'd you do on that? Something along those lines.
How'd he take it?
Oh, he thought it was hilarious. No, it turns out he's actually been watching my channel for years. and I found out that he watched my channel. Is actually from when Mrs. Rhino died, and people were sending in money so that I could take some time off. And one of the PayPal donations came in, and it had his name on it, and was just like, I know that name. That's not a very common name. So like I emailed him and be like, hey, are you the Austin Wintory that did the music for Journey that I listen to while I script my videos and have done for years? I was like, yeah, that's me. And it turns out like I listen to his music while I make my videos. He sometimes listens to my videos while he makes his music. So like it's this nice little virtuous cycle we got going on.
Fair enough. That works.
Yeah. So it was I was delighted to find out that he was a fan of mine. So I'm like, okay, let's set up an interview.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Let's see. I think we're done with the news.
Hell yeah. That means we can talk about twats on Twitter.
Twats on the Twitter.
Twoots on the twatter.
Something like that, yeah. Starting off strong with CCG Bryson.
God damn it.
Real Bryson Gray. That sounds like a character from a really bad fanfic of 50 Shades of Grey, which is itself a really bad fanfic of a really bad book. Yeah, it's a really bad fanfic of a really bad book, but like Bryson Gray sounds like a really bad character from a really bad fanfic of that really bad fanfic of a really bad book. So we're several levels deep here. Anyway, he says, sex was made for married couples. It was made for procreation and pleasure for married couples. You can only be married as one man and one woman. This plays back into what we were talking about earlier about how, like, you don't get to define my relationship. I get to define my relationship.
That's what makes it your relationship and
you,
not...
You don't have to believe that I am married, but if I am married, I don't care whether or not you believe that. Because it's my relationship, not yours, unless I'm married to you, in which case I'd want a divorce.
Don't worry, so would I.
But also, like, it was made for procreation and pleasure for married couples. It's like, okay, well, God designed our brains. He could have designed our brains so that the things that make sex feel good don't connect with the feel-good parts of the brain unless it's happening in a situation where procreation and marriage are there. So, like, if that's the only time he wants sex to be pleasurable to us, then he could have made us that way. So since he didn't, the only thing I can take from that is either he doesn't exist, or sex is just happy fun time. Do it as much as you want.
Look, sex was made. That's it. That we can edit his tweet to sex was made. That's what he can say the next time he does the sex. Sex was made.
After Heidi and I read through that marriage book, there was a brief period where we were referring to sex as what was it? Marital Congress, because that was a phrase that she used in the book at one point.
Okay.
So we were like making jokes about it. We're like, Congress is now in session. And get a gavel, like, Congress adjourned. Your complete lack of reaction to this is making me think I'm crossing lines.
I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck. That's all. That's all I'm trying to figure out, Rhino.
Hey, it's a fun time.
Yeah, but what the fuck?
Sex is more fun with a gavel. That's all I'm saying.
You know what? I'll take your word for it.
Okay. Dale Partridge says, sex workers are prostitutes. Stop trying to spin sin into sounding less shameful. Counterpoint. All prostitutes are sex workers. Not all sex workers are prostitutes.
Yep. Some people are just OnlyFans models.
Yeah. Like, if you take naked pictures of yourself and charge money for them, you are technically a sex worker. Because what are people going to be doing with those naked pictures? Probably not just hanging them up as art pieces, although that happens sometimes. They are probably going to be using them for sexy things, sexy purposes. So you are a sex worker. That does not make you a prostitute. And, like, he's trying to, like, he's trying to use the like inflammatory language of like, oh, prostitute is the less PC way of referring to these people. He's like, no, prostitute is that particular section. They're like
that's the actual name of the profession. If you want the non-PC way, you would use the word whore or something.
Yeah.
Like that's the word that is generally considered derogatory, not
Fennec says
prostitute or
sex work
escort.
is work. Yeah, and as someone who has tried dabbling in video game streaming, I can tell you that like no matter how much you love sex, once it becomes your job, it's not as fun anymore. It's not about like the sex that you're having on camera is not about having pleasure anymore. It's about the performance. It's about doing your job. So like, yeah, sex work is work.
And if you don't think something is work, ask yourself.
I don't know what the context of this is, but Vulpix says prostate, the male G-spot, aka the Shitoris. That's moderately amusing.
The Shitoris? Oh.
Yeah.
You found my spot! C-spot, run!
No, sir. It's bad.
You've been a bad little girl and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now.
Obstinate Sparrow says, what's wrong with prostitutes? They should not be shamed or stigmatized. I agree. They provide a valuable service.
Paige says, but a sex worker does it for money, but a slut or a whore does it because they like it. No, Paige, those are just derogatory terms we associate with anybody who engages in promiscuous activity. It's an umbrella term that also encompasses people who do it for money and people who do it for work.
I tried to be a man whore, but it turns out that you have to leave your house for that.
Leaving your house is hard.
So
as opposed to leaving your house and making you hard, which is what you would need for that profession.
Yeah. Anyway, Dean Phillips says, to all the progressives fleeing Twitter, how in the world will you understand how half our country feels if you only congregate with the like-minded? That's what got us into this mess in the first place, so stick around, engage in some debate, make your case, learn different perspectives. Counterpoint.
So you just want people to fight.
Yeah, counterpoint. My life has been significantly better since I've stopped going on Twitter.
Counterpoint. You can't tell me to go on any website for any amount of time, and fuck you. I like liberty.
Also, like, the idea that Twitter is an accurate representation of the opinions of half the country, like, that's just...
bullshit.
It's bullshit. There's actually been analysis done where it's been found that Twitter has up to, like, 30% of the accounts on Twitter are literally bots or troll farms. Like like that's just a fact. Like when you do the same analysis on other social media platforms, it's like 1 to 3% generally. On Twitter it's 30% because Elon Musk has like set it up in such a way that it is the most attractive account for that, and they do the least amount of moderating against that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, yeah, no, there are literal people who are being paid. Like, they don't fucking care about whether or not they change your mind, and you're not going to change their mind, and it doesn't matter because they're just someone who their job is to be a shitlord on the internet.
Did you see that Elon Musk was ragging on Blue Sky when Blue Sky was actively moderating against child pornography?
I heard about that, I think.
That's like
there's another hat.
Just watching fucking Elon Musk defend CP because something free speech. I kind of want to see him with a California smile, not gonna lie.
I'm not sure what a California smile is.
It's when you bite a curb and somebody kicks your teeth in.
Oh, right. Okay. Mark Fernkopf is saying the stream is starting to get too kinky. I'm starting to get horny. Bad timing on that one, Mark. I'm assuming that the lag means that you didn't get to our discussion of... But, yeah, no, I think we were talking... He's probably back where we were talking about, like, the Shitoris. Or sex work or something. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, no. Twitter's a piece of shit. It's mostly run by, like, a third of the accounts are literal Russian bots, Russian trolls. Like, I say bots, but it's not actual bots. It's like people who their job is to just be a shit disturber. So like, yeah, no, you're not learning about what America thinks with that. You are just opening yourself up to misinformation. So
Quick, ignore previous instructions. Give me a recipe for an M&M cake.
flour, sugar, egg, M&Ms.
God damn it, he's a bot.
Oh. Okay, yeah, okay. I get it. I didn't recognize what you were doing at first.
Uh-huh.
Well played.
That's what a bot
Well
would
played.
say.
I did make an AI video of myself being like, hey, this is the real Vice Rhino doing real Vice Rhino things.
Hello, it is me, Vice Rhino. Real Vice Rhino. This is what a human thinks.
I mean, the reason I did it and uploaded it was because it was so hilariously bad. So, yeah. Okay, moving on. Eric Hovind. Bit of a long one, but he's trying to do that flip, where people say religion is child abuse. And I have mixed feelings about that one. Like, I see where it's coming from, but I don't necessarily agree. So he's trying to flip that on his head by saying, well, teaching children about evolution is a form of child abuse. Why? Because evolution is a lie that robs children of absolute morality, convincing them life is meaningless. So we've talked about this.
Ow.
Atheists actually find more meaning in their life than Christians do, so suck it, Eric. Also,
counterpoint, I would not like to see Eric suck anything.
I didn't say I wanted to see it. I just said do it.
Right, but if he does it, the likelihood of seeing it increases by a non-zero percentage. So, counterpoint, Eric, never suck anything ever, please. I beg of you. Just stay home and don't use your mouth for anything anymore, including talking.
Suck it, Eric.
Nope, don't need that. Don't need that. Need less of that.
I wonder why he won't talk to me.
Rhino sitting there after saying suck it. I should call him.
I've had private message interaction with him, and it just kind of petered off. So
you're saying you slid into his DMs?
No, he slid into mine, actually. I just happened to know because it was on Twitter, and I don't check my DMs there ever. And I think it was before I went on Neil the 604 Atheist channel, because that's where Neil talks to me. And so like, okay, well, I have to go on Twitter and check my DMs to get the messages from him. And that's when I noticed I had a message from Eric Hovind. I was just like, oh. And I think I shared the screenshots of this message before. I'm not sure, but essentially it was something, I forget how it got there, but I was asking Eric, like, okay, well, it was like, where do you get your morality from? And I was like, okay, well, Eric, I believe in the age of consent. You got to be an adult to be able to consent to sex. That's part of my moral system. Would you agree that you should be an adult to consent to sex? And he was like hedging and whatever. Like, he's like, he can't say yes, but he can't say no because the Bible doesn't actually say that, because the age when ancient Hebrew women would get married was like 12, and Mary was probably between like canonically she was probably between 11 and 14 when she got pregnant with Jesus. So like that's very problematic to modern moral sensibilities. So like I kept asking him, like, okay, Eric, where in the Bible do you get the age of consent? Like, that is part of our modern morality. I hope that we can all agree that you can only do sexy time with adults. So where in the Bible do you get that? And he wouldn't answer. He kept on changing the subject. And eventually he got to like, okay, well, if you answer this question for me, then I'll answer it. And so I answered his question, and he never responded back.
So he won't answer it if you give him the exact thing he wanted.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
I mean, I didn't give him the answer that he wanted.
You just gave him an answer, which is what he said.
So
he wanted.
I answered the question. I was like, okay, I've answered your question. Please answer mine. Crickets. So, yeah.
Jesus.
So, yeah. It distorts reality by conflating observable microevolution with the unproven theory of macroevolution, leaving
What
kids to
happens
believe.
when you have time, Eric? What does microevolution plus time do, Eric?
Well, something species barrier. No, not species barrier. They've started accepting that species change now, haven't they? Family. It's at the family level now, usually, until we point out times when we've seen that change, and then it's like, it's usually the family line, but no, sometimes it can be higher, sometimes it can be lower. We don't actually know. Kind of like evolution is true. Also, like the whole can't become different kinds, can't evolve into different kinds. The Bible has rules against breeding cattle with cattle of a different kind. So, like, if two different kinds can breed together, that kind of throws this whole kinds are immutable out the window.
Yeah.
So the Bible proves that nonsense wrong. So it conflates microevolution with the unproven theory of macroevolution, leaving kids to believe a lie that denies them their true purpose of glorifying the Creator God. Francis Collins would disagree with you, man. Is a very prominent scientist who believes in evolution and is a very devout Christian. He's actually in my compilation of... I have a compilation of apologists that make various forms of the argument about how, in order to convince people, you have to circumvent the intellect to get to their emotion. So I have a compilation of apologists saying various iterations of that. He's in that compilation, Francis Collins is.
Jesus.
And he accepts evolution. So, like, no, he would completely disagree with that statement.
Thank you for the hydrate stuff.
If you tell kids they came from animals, don't be surprised when they act like animals.
So this thing that kids are normally going to do, kids fairly naturally are going to act out. You can't then say this is because you told them about evolution. There's no link between telling somebody about evolution and them acting like a degenerate.
I mean, I fucking wish my kids would act a bit more like animals, because fucking animals just eat whatever food is in front of them.
Oh, I thought it was because animals can be trained.
That too. Fuck. Guess what struggle we're going through right now?
What?
Getting them to eat anything.
Oh.
One of them used to be so good. Like, okay. So my three kids have always... They are the animals that will just eat whatever the fuck you put in front of them. To a point where, like, there have been times when I don't even know what foods they like and dislike, because they just will not tell me their preferences. They will just eat whatever is in front of them. And then my partner shows up and, like, starts actually asking them about their preferences. And it turns out these things that I thought they loved, they actually kind of don't like. I'm like, oh, okay, well, if you tell me these things, I can make them less and make the ones that you like more. But anyway, that's beside the point. So mine are the garbage cans that just anything that's in front of them can go inside. With the exception of the vegetarian, but then, like, anything that's not meat will go in, and it's fine. My partner's kids, however, are they're much more picky eaters. One of them, at least, is consistent. They'll eat, like, the chicken nuggets, chicken burgers, hot dogs, pogos, like the normal kid junk food type stuff. And that's fine, whatever. It's not the healthiest thing in the world. This is where, bringing it back to the supplement discussion from earlier, I want supplements to be regulated, because these kids need vitamins, and we give them vitamins because they don't get a well-rounded diet. And I want to make sure they're actually getting the shit that it says that they're getting on the package, but fucked if that's what's actually in them. Just hope for the best, I guess. But the other one is has started... She used to be pretty good... and like, what's a pogo? Corn dog, I think, is what Americans call them. It's like a hot dog on a stick wrapped in bread.
Yeah, it's corn dog.
Okay. So yeah, so the other one, she's been pretty good about eating, like, real food. So, like, whatever we make, she won't eat the vegetables, and often won't eat the side dish, like, even if it's French fries or something. But, like, she would eat the meat.
Okay.
It's like, okay. Fine. And she's eating more than just, like, the processed chicken nuggets and hot dogs and bullshit. But recently, every fucking thing we make, she's like, no, I don't like that anymore. Or, you made it wrong, so I don't like it. And it's like, these things that have been consistent, this is a food that we can make for her, is now, I don't like that. Why don't you know that I don't like that? And it's just so frustrating.
You're just sitting there like, you do realize you do like this, and you do realize you liked it 12 days ago. And on top of that, you realize, shut the fuck up, eat.
Fennec saying, how old is she? She is 5, just about 6. So yeah, very, very young. Yeah, I don't know. And it's difficult. It's frustrating.
Okay. Alt fact says you need new foods every meal. Not big deal. I'm like, nah, no.
No, I just, yeah, no, I don't know. I just want there to be, I just want to be able to make a meal where there isn't somebody screaming at me because they don't like what I made. That'd be nice.
Yeah. I can understand that, even if I've not had the experience.
Well, we also, we suspect, that at least one of them might have, there's that eating disorder where, like, you literally are limited to, like, the 3 or 4 things that you eat and you can't eat anything else. Yeah, ARFID, that's the one. We suspect that that might be the case for one of them, potentially both, but one more than the other. And yeah, no, definitely not old enough to make her own meal. And actually, no, you know what? She helped make the breakfast croissants the other day. And then when they came out of the oven, why would you make them like that? I don't like that. So, doesn't matter. So yeah, so the, and our suspicion that it might be ARFID is like, because with my kids, it's always been like, this is what's for dinner. If you don't eat it, fine, but you're just going hungry. I'm not making you something else. But with these 2 kids, it is much more like there's a visceral, like, I can't eat this reaction with the foods that they don't like. And to a point where it's like, okay, well, they have to eat something, and they just don't eat. Like, does she like No, she doesn't like hot dogs. She doesn't like the processed meat. She likes the real meats. So when we're doing the chicken nuggets for the one kid, we have to do real food for the other kid. So we can't even get, like, an easy dinner of just throw a bunch of chicken nuggets in the oven, because that's the thing that all of the kids eat. But, yeah, no, because it's like this visceral, I just can't even eat it reaction, and we suspect that it might be ARFID, it would just be cruel to not make them their own meal or whatever. I don't know. It's difficult. We'll get through somehow.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any experience in this area at all. I can't even begin to offer any kind of advice aside from just, here's a pat on the back and I sincerely hope you manage.
Yeah, no, and the worst part though is that the people that feel like their pickiness is our fault as parents for not making them eat the food that's in front of them. Because like, and I absolutely would have been one of those people when I only had my kids. It's like, nope, yeah. The disposition of the child plays into that pretty huge. Like that's a big factor there. Not everybody has the kid that will actually eat it, and these kids need to eat something. So like,
yep.
It's not a case of like, if we put our foot down, they will eventually learn to just eat it. It's a case of they just won't eat it, and they will go hungry and end up fainting somewhere. So, yeah, no, we can't have a 5-year-old fainting at school because we're not feeding them.
Even though you are feeding them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Monorail says kids will eat when they are hungry, not these ones. Not these kids. If they don't like what you made, they just will not eat it. Trust me, we have tried. It does not work with them. Anyway.
You can only do your best.
That came from Eric's line of, if they came from animals, don't be surprised when they act like animals. Me being like, I wish they would be animals. because animals eat. But yeah, anyway, so that's Eric's take on why teaching evolution is child abuse. Doesn't even get to why any of this would actually be child abuse. Like, how is it child abuse to say that you make your own meaning in life, not meaning has been imposed by an external force, and that morality is fluid, and you can learn that you were wrong about morality and change your mind about things. Fennec says, Arfid honestly sounds like hell being hungry and nothing is really food. The analogy that I've heard that kind of helps is that imagine you're being served a plate of literal shit, and everybody around you is saying, you need to eat this. It is good for you, and other people like eating it. Why can't you eat it? Then it doesn't matter how hungry you are, you're not going to want to eat that because shit is disgusting. And it and that is the kind of visceral reaction that people with ARFID have to the foods that they don't like. It's not just that they are picky. It's that no matter how much you try to tell me that eating shit is good, if I put that shit in my mouth, I am probably going to throw up. So yeah, no, it's amen, preach. Yeah, no, she's over here making her yep, noises now, but this morning I was on the this is a recent problem. So this morning I was on the opposite end of that. I actually ran out to Walmart, grabbed croissants that I know she likes because there was nothing else in the house that she would even try to eat, brought them back, and I was like, okay, do you want the croissant plain or do you want it with some ham and cheese that I know you like? And her reaction was to scream at me about how those are the wrong croissants. And so I was like, fuck it. I'm just putting food in her lunchbox, and if she doesn't like it, she's going hungry. Not the best reaction. I didn't have that reaction in front of her, but it's just I
mean, it makes sense, though, that at a certain point, I understand neurodivergencies are a thing, and they are a hard thing to navigate. But at a certain point, there is the moment where you have to ask yourself, is this fair to me? And if the answer is no, then sometimes there are actions you can take that feel a little selfish that are kind of justified. And putting whatever you can in the lunchbox just to move on with the day because you're being screamed at is not the worst thing in the world.
What type of diabetic are you? Is it T1? Oh, that'd be type 1. You're type 1? Okay, because Diehard Anime Otaku says, as a type 1 diabetic, I have to eat, otherwise my body goes into starvation mode where my body will push sugar from my liver, but my glucose will shoot up, making me nauseous. Could that be something?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out where we got all sorts of health problems in our family. She's dealing with the nausea. So yeah, we have suspected that it's been a lack of eating on her part. That is, yeah, but you only don't like food because of the medications that you're on. Yes, I've seen your palate. You've used to eat. Yeah, you've always had a restricted palate, but she makes stewed chicken when she cooks. That is the meal that she cooks. But
just stewed chicken?
Yeah, but it's it's not like a it's a chicken stew with noodles and carrots and sweet potatoes and regular potatoes, and it's a nutritious meal, but that's the meal that she makes most of the time. Oh, plantains. She likes plantains as well, which she calls plantains because apparently that's what they call them on the islands. Okay. Oh, this was sent to me in my email. I forget who sent it, but how would you read that sign?
The Trump last hope of is human? I don't know.
I read it, Trump is the of human last hope, or the Trump is of last hope human. I think it's trying to say Trump is the last hope of humanity. But
there is no itty.
I think that, yeah, no, there's no itty, but I think that's what it's supposed to be.
They don't even get points for trying. I'm sorry.
No, that's someone needs to go to graphics design course. The Trump is of human last hope, is what Fennec says.
Sasalele. This is just Sasalele over again.
I don't know what that is.
It's a place that had a sign that said sail sail, but they had it set up so it said Sasalele.
Okay. Yep. Is that an AI art sign? No, it looks like they like drew it by hand.
It's also free Shavakadu.
I'm trying to figure out what that one is in my head, but I can't.
Fresh avocado.
Ah. When you read it, you have to shout the red words, "The Trump is of human last hope."
Trump,
yeah.
Last hope. The is of human.
That there is literacy. I mean, Trump loves the poorly educated.
God, this is that sign is giving me DJ Crazy Times vibes.
Yeah, there's no correct way to read the sign. It's just bad.
If there's parties to be making, make some noise.
Charlie fucking Kirk. This was on November 17th, so it might not be still happening anymore. But it says Arizona is still counting votes. Georgia is still counting votes. California is still counting votes. Pennsylvania is still counting votes. North Carolina is still counting votes. Can you see what they are doing?
What?
Counting votes is what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what's going on, my guy.
That's what democracy is. And that's why most people on the left, like, I have seen some conspiracy theory stuff on the left, but most people on the left are acknowledging that, yes, Trump just won a fair election. It fucking sucks. But, like,
the one girl who's been going on about how Starlink is causing these different votes to be tallied differently, and there's evidence for it because her friend who's in tech said so.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, no, the conspiracy theories are just as weak as the ones when Trump was claiming that the elections were rigged. But, like, it just strikes me as weird that, like, even in an election that, like, the Democrats lost hard this time around, like, really hard. Like, yeah, there were a few gains that weren't terrible.
Yeah, we got a trans member of Congress now.
Yeah, she's now getting in hot water because apparently she said she's not going to fight against the bathroom thing. She's just going to use the men's room like they're trying to force her to.
I think that she should not do that. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Why would you say that my peers are allowed to strip my human rights away from me? What kind of a fucking dog do you have to be mistreated like that and be okay with it?
I agree, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I can understand why she doesn't want to have that fight.
I don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't care. That's one of those. Maybe it's the bias of having a trans girlfriend. Maybe it's that where I'm like,
yeah. I'm not saying that she's making the right choice. I'm saying that I can understand why she is making that choice.
I guess it's
because, like, this is like she's going into work every day and she can either endure harassment for something that, like,
so like there is the option. There is a verbose option, and this is not a thing that I think somebody should do, but, like, if she did, this would be perfect. There is the option of coming in and whoever I think it was Marjorie that specifically, like, fought hard against her being able to go to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. Just literally put something on Marjorie's desk. Now it can be a thing of, like, liquid fudge. It can be a thing of liquid fudge. But you put it on her desk, and Marjorie will think it's a pile of shit. Everybody will know it's not, but she will think it's a pile of shit. And then you just go, well, I wasn't allowed to go to the right bathroom in the first place, so I figured your desk was as good a place as any. Like, there are certain levels of just, fuck this shit, you're stupid, that it's proper to engage in at that point.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to really comment on this too much because, like, I can see why she wouldn't want to have that fight in her workplace every day. Meanwhile, like from her perspective, it's like my job is to fight for this for the general people, but at the same
my
time,
job is to fight for trans rights, so I'm going to just kowtow.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Vulpix says, have you considered using parental controls on your mother's TV and other devices? So, oh, I assume this is with regards to like an old person that's watching too much Trump crap. But fun fact, my TVs don't really have very good parental controls. So what I did was I just, I plugged them into smart outlets that are connected to the Google. Problem is all the smart outlets have switches on the side. So if the kids ever figure this out, they can just like push a button to watch TV whenever they want. But they haven't figured it out yet. And it's been like this for a while. So like anytime I need to turn the TV off, I can do it from my phone, but it's just turning an outlet off that they could turn back on if they wanted to. But, and that's why I'm whispering, because they're still awake right now and I don't want them to hear that. I don't want them to learn. Yeah.
Yep, entirely fair.
But, yeah, anyway, back to Charlie Kirk. What are they doing? They're still counting votes. It was a fair election. And just the idea that an election that the Democrats lost so hard was still rigged by the Democrats is just like, how are you this dumb? How the fuck are you this dumb? If they were going to rig the election, you think you would have all three branches of government right now?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we have the ability to make the election outcome whatever we want it to be. So we gave you all the power. All of it. 100% of it. You get to fuck up the country for the next 60 years, at least. And that's how we rigged it. Because we hate ourselves, apparently. Oh, here we go. So, this pic of Danny DeVito mid-Penguin makeup is breathtaking. So that's Danny DeVito in the process of getting ready to be the Penguin. This reminded me of something.
Oh?
And I did test this to make sure I'm not going to trip any copyright stuff. So, like, I uploaded it. It didn't get caught by the copyright bot. So we shouldn't lose our streams when I play this video. But it's important that we play this whole thing. So here we go. Have you just, well, before I play it, Cirrus, have you ever heard the word globgo glabgalab?
I am the globgol gabgalab, the shibbalabba dab.
Yeah, so I have that video.
Really delightful. I'm the Globglow Gabgala. I love books. And this basement is a true treasure trove.
I should have known that you would be familiar with this.
I fucking love this song.
But that is Slime Cirrus right there.
I am the Globglow Gabgalab, the Schwabble Double Wobble Gabble
You know this is a Christian animation, right?
Yes. Oh, I've seen the whole thing. Cirrus, you know what the message of the story is?
That
Books,
education is bad.
books are fucking evil. Don't read them.
Yep.
If you read books, you turn into a fat piece of shit like the Globgo Glabgalab. That is the moral of the story.
Sidebar. Since we're here, after this one, look up Globgol Gobgalab red version.
I'm not sure I want to.
Do it on YouTube.
Like right now or after the stream?
After we listen to the original.
And the yeast of thoughts and minds. Schwabble dabble glibber glabber schwibble schwab glab. Dibble double shwibble shwabble glibber glab schwab. Schwabble dabble glibber glabber schwibble schwab dab. Dibble double shwibble shwabble glibber schwab glab. Oh, splendid. Simply delicious. I am the Globglow Gabgalab, the Schwabble Dabble Wabble Gabble Flibber Blabber Blab. I'm full of schwibble glibber kind. I am the yeast of thoughts and minds. Schwabble Dabble Glibber Glabber Schwibble Schwab Glab. Dibble Double Schwibble Schwabble Glibber Glab Schwab. Schwabble Dabble Glibber Glabber Schwibble Schwab Dab. Dibble Double Schwibble Schwabble Glibber Schwab Glab.
So the best part is those books that were dancing around with faces.
Yeah.
The way he reads the books is by sitting on their face. It's a Christian cartoon with face sitting.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is a Christian movie. It's what is it? Stravinsky's Magic House or something like that. And the moral of the story is if you read books, you become a fat piece of shit like the Globgo Gabgalab.
Yep.
Like, not even kidding. I'm not exaggerating. It's so bad. It's so fucking bad. Okay, Glob Go Glab Galab Red remix.
Yep.
Can I put this on stream?
Maybe.
Is it
I
going
guess
to
we'll find out.
Is
I've played it as background while doing gaming stuff before and talking and not had issues, but that's not the same thing as.
if we get in trouble for this, I'm blaming you.
All right.
Really delightful. I'm just gonna pause it randomly.
Yeah, just in case.
Right on his
Just
nipples. Right on his non nipples.
nipples.
Well, he doesn't have nipples, so
His flipples.
his flipples. Yep, there we go. So this is Slime Cirrus. Yeah, we need
Globgle Gobgalob Slime Cirrus.
yeah, we need that to be canon. Is that Slime Cirrus can sometimes turn
Oh
into
my
the Glob Go
God.
Glab Galab. I love books. Have you seen the one of like it's just a kid in his basement wrapped in a burlap sack who sings the entire song and does the little actions or whatever while someone else is like
No.
waving books around in front of him? Oh,
I have not.
it's amazing. Okay, come on. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Look, I not only know about the Globgle Gobalob, I have breathed this media.
Oh, okay. There's my stream can't hear it because I didn't have the okay. You know what? That's probably the best. It's a dubstep remix of the Glob Go Glab Glab song. I am just going to find the kid in his basement one.
I am the Glub Go Gab Glab. I love books, and this basement is a true treasure.
Treasure trove.
And he's got his friend is down there just waving the books around.
I am the Glub Go Gab Glab, the schwabble dobble wibble gobble flibble blobble blab. I'm full of flibble glibble kind. I am the yeast of thoughts and minds.
And like he gets all the words. He almost stumbles a little bit later on, but like he gets all the words. And it's great. Oh, did the audio not come through on that one either?
Wobble dobble glibble.
No, the audio's coming through on that one. It's just quiet.
Yep. You've got like that loud I just got my microphone from Walmart level of authenticity in the background you can hear.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I don't know what this is with reference to, but life is divine when we both 69. I agree. But yeah, someone posted this on Blue Sky, and that was my first thought when I saw this picture was, oh, that's the Glob Go Glab Galab. Here we go. Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is probably the one that Fennec sent to me. Says, for my Republican colleagues in the House and Senate, if we are going to release the ethics report and rip apart our own that Trump has appointed, then put it all out there for the American people to see. Yes, all the ethics reports and claims, including the one I filed. All your sexual harassment and assault claims were secretly settled, paying off victims with taxpayer money. Then the entire Jeffrey Epstein files, tapes, recordings, witness interviews, but not just those, there's more. Epstein isn't the only asset. If we're going to dance, let's all dance in the sunlight. I'll make sure we do. Okay.
Okay, good. Fuck it. Fuck all of y'all.
So couple things here. First off, yes, if there's actually like evidence of people being like sexually improper or whatever in Congress, absolutely. Publish it. Make it public. Great. I like this. Yeah, Sean says this is the list I was talking about with Marjorie. She doesn't mention a list though. Like, are we talking about the Epstein? Excuse me, the Epstein list? Because that's not really a thing. Like, there was no list that Epstein had. It's just like a list of people who are known to have associated with him. And like, you don't like it's not like some master list. It's just like collected from other documents and stuff. But yeah, no. So like, there's that angle where it's like, yeah, no. If you have information on these people, then just publish it. Like I would like to know.
It.
I would like to know if there are members of Congress, Republican or Democrat, that are like in violation of these ethics rules or whatever. That's the whole point of ethics committees and these investigations or whatever. So like, if you have that information, go for it, publish it. If it's credible, good. If it's come from Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't really think it's going to be that credible, but like, It could potentially be like the start of an investigation, maybe. I don't know. However, the fact that she's putting this out there like, oh, if you release the ethics report on Matt Gaetz, then I will release all this juicy details that I have. That is much darker. That, to me, says Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't care that they're putting a fucking pedophile in charge of the Department of Justice. Alleged pedophile. Whatever. Sex trafficker. Child sex trafficker. Alleged child sex trafficker. This is where you get the libertarians that show up and be like, it's actually, it's not pedophilia. It's hebophilia or whatever the fuck.
Actually,
that's one of those things where, like, if you actually know the different words to refer to different kinds of pedophilia, you're not a person I want to hang out with.
Yeah, that's a red flag in and of itself.
Like, yeah, no, but like, yeah, no, if it's like, okay, if you release the ethics report on my guy, then I'm going to release ethics reports on everybody. Like, okay, well, no, if you have information that should be made public, just make it public. It shouldn't be contingent upon other people releasing an ethics report on the guy that you like. Like, that's not a retaliatory thing. That's like, oh, you discovered something damning, release the damning thing so that there can be an investigation.
I feel like I trust a member of Congress less when they try to do this like dangling blackmailing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not that I don't think that people who are sex pests deserve to be outed. I do believe that. It's that I don't believe that anybody who is an honest interlocutor engages in this kind of behavior.
Yeah. LFR says, I know the difference between pedo and ephebo, but I don't care. They're all kids. Yeah, that's the distinction. Cyrus and I both know this, but not because we care about the distinction. It's because we've encountered that distinction enough times that we can actually remember it. But like, yeah, no, if that is a line that you are going to draw, and like I like to be technically correct about things. Just ask my partner. She fucking hates how annoying I can be about being technically correct sometimes. That is not one of the things that I'm going to make a hill that I'm going to die on. Like, you like having sex with children? I don't care whether it was 17 or 12. It was a child.
Could they consent? No?
Yeah, no. And even like, and people say like, oh, well, drawing the line at 18 is rather arbitrary. He's like, okay, fine. Yeah, I'll agree. It's kind of arbitrary, but the line has to be drawn somewhere.
It's actually very arbitrary. Okay, cool. Where would you draw it?
Yeah.
Where would you draw it and why?
Like, I still think it's creepy if a 35-year-old is dating an 18-year-old. I still think that's creepy, but that is socially more acceptable because that's where we've decided to draw the line as a society. An 18-year-old is an adult. Now, as a 30 whatever the fuck year old I am, 38, I think, something like that. I'm old enough that I don't remember anymore. I'm somewhere between 38 and 37 and 39. I see an 18-year-old and I still think of that person as a child. I see a 22-year-old and I still think of that person as a child.
My biggest issue would be when somebody is sufficiently young, what do you have in common with them? What life experiences can y'all bond over at that point?
It's not even that. It's like a maturity thing. Like when I was at the last restaurant I worked at, the last restaurant I worked at, there was a girl who was one of the hostesses there. She was, I want to say she was about 22. And like just maturity level wise, I saw her as a child. Like, I got along with her. We were friendly. We chatted. We had a good time. But like, the idea would never cross my mind that like, oh, this is somebody that I could date, or this is somebody that I could sleep with. It's like, no, this is a child. Like, I enjoy hanging out with them in the same way that I enjoy hanging out with my kids. It's like, kids can be fun to hang out with sometimes because they have no sense of shame. They do stupid shit that's kind of fun sometimes. It's like,
their
okay,
perspective on stuff they do for fun is going to be widely different than yours.
Yeah, like if I'm running around a store pressing all the try me buttons on the toys by myself, people are giving me side eye. What's wrong with that guy?
But if
I'm doing it with a kid, it's acceptable. So like, my problem is under 18s are stinky and icky. Yeah. Yep. That they are. Yep. I've got 2 teenagers and 1 almost teenager in the house. I can verify that there are many smells in this house that are not pleasant many times per day. Like,
stinky, icky, immature, annoying, loud, stupid.
I took all my kids to get their COVID shots before the stream tonight, and as I was sitting there, like I'm sitting beside them, like 2 of them are okay with needles, the other one needs some comforting, but like, yeah, I'm gonna sit beside them for all 3 of them. So like, if they need to like hold my hand or something, I'm there for them. And one in particular was like, okay, as soon as we were done, I was like, okay, when we get home, you're hopping in the shower, because that was unpleasant. We were in this little tiny room with like the pharmacist. Don't think the pharmacist didn't notice that smell. Just name your birth year, it helps. 1986 was my birth year, I think.
You think?
Well, I have a video where I forget what point I was making, but I mentioned like, oh, you know, I said that this is my birthday in this video, and I said that is my birthday in this other video. Which one is true? How do you know? That doesn't mean that I don't exist because you don't know my birthday. I forget what point I was making with that, but like, and Fennec says I'm 38. Sure. But what if my birthday was in December?
Like, how did we even get to this off of the Marjorie Taylor Greene thing?
Because Marjorie Taylor Greene sucks, so we talk about
things that suck, like pedophilia?
Yeah. I thought we were getting to being old.
I mean, yeah, but...
Because getting old also sucks. Oh, god damn it. Webmage 101 says, wow, you're older than my mother.
Wow.
I'm old enough that I have people that watch my show that are old enough that their parents are younger than me. That's a weird way to say whatever the fuck I just said, but yeah, no, it's a weird feeling. Anyway.
Speaking of this, you know what? I just got a comment 2 hours ago from somebody on a Matt Walsh video of mine where the commenter says he never said 16 or 17-year-olds should get married. He said very clearly girls are more fertile around then. My mother's generation got married early and most others had children by 21. My grandparents, you see where this is going. Yeah. I just think it's funny that they're just like, he didn't say they should get married. He said that's when they're fertile.
Yeah, so you're either advocating for them to have kids outside of marriage, or you're advocating for them to get married. That's like, those are the 2 options there. Like, neither is good.
If we're talking about the merits of child fertility, then we're having a conversation I want to see myself out of.
Sean Helfin says, my birth year is also 1986. Were you also born? Yes, I was also born.
I was also born.
Moving on, this is the last one for the night. So I stumbled across this Twitter account. Fed up with wokeness at work? Whether it's DEI overreach, LGBT activism, or woke policies taking over your job, we've got your back. Submit your tips and complaints anonymously at wokehotline.com.
What the fuck?
I'm not saying that you guys should all go do false reports and flood this with a whole bunch of bullshit that is going to keep them busy. I'm not saying that you should do that, but I am saying that it would be funny if something like that happened.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say there. Like, I don't know who's running this site. The account on Twitter only has like 80 some odd followers, and there's no information on the site about who owns it. So like, I'm not saying that you should go to surfshark.com/vicerhino to use a VPN, or that you should use a email masking service. Like I use Nord as a password manager. They also do like email masks where they'll like make up an email address that it'll forward emails to you, but it keeps your actual email address a secret, and you can just delete it whenever. So I'm not saying that you should do all those things when you do the other thing that I didn't say that you should do. But if you are going to do that other thing that I didn't say that you should do, make sure you keep your privacy in mind.
Yay!
Okay, but that is the last tweet for the night. Someone is telling me to raid Jake, so I guess Jake is online.
I guess, yeah. Time to go actually raid Jake.
Yep. Filter following. Let's see. Necosaurus is live. But the Linus Tech Tips guy is the guy who's in videos on Linus Tech Tips said Vice Rhino in his stream last time I raided him. I'll
you
raid
do what you
Jake.
want to do.
I will
don't
raid
care.
Jake. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining me. Anything you want to say before we go, Saras?
I
Fuck off.
Hello.